Who remembers these? A certain YouTuber with a penchant for vintage Christmas lights. Very interesting channel. If you've never watched it, I suggest you go and have a watch. This was a set of lights he had that he was struggling to make operate. He did have a go at trying to get them to come back to life, but he was unsuccessful. Well, blow my own trumpet, but I'm pretty good at making broken electronic things work again. And these, I got particular interest in these. I actually got in touch with him. I can't for the life remember his name. I want to say Gav. Could completely have just made that up on the spot. Yes. So, good old-fashioned 5mm LEDs. They look relatively low intensity. Simple controller box. Remember on the video, it's just basically a couple of transistors. I'm going to say it's very, very likely that it's just a cascaded multi-vibrator circuit or something. Basically, it would flick it on, and I seem to recall the most it would operate would be like two of the colours. I think it was like red, green and yellow wouldn't flash, which suggests to me is it's working its way along the chain. One of these little transistors on here has most likely had a manufacturing defect and is not operational. So what I'm going to do is get the old multimeter out, have a probe around and see what I can see. Try and draw the schematic out as well. So first things first, I'm going to have to unsolder this. From here, you're going to have to excuse the less than perfect filming. I'm not set up to doing YouTube videos. I've occasionally filmed the odd video here or there. I mean, Chris, my beard, you know, I'm up here, beard's down here. You know, it gets in the way enough without having this camera here. So yes, it's sat to the side of me, just kind of zoomed in a bit, and I can just about see the screen. Of course, the autofocus is going to be getting mardy with me because I'm blocking the thing it's trying to track, but hey ho. Okay, that makes life a little easier. Turn that off for a moment. Oh, there goes the camera. Okay. So this is the little board for it. Some little transistors on here. I think they're transistors. They say LM9014 on them. So get some focus. Oh yeah, fantastic. So yeah, a bit of a weird one because it says LM. It looks like it could just be an LM90, but then it says 14C. So yeah, LM9014 is bringing up a device ID as an NPN transistor, so it's definitely a TO92 case package, so you know, that's always a good start. Standard configuration, looking down on the device, sort of flat is facing the emitter base collector. So what I can do at least is the good old diode check and see if there's anything blatantly that way around, wasn't it? He says. Yeah, middle base. Oh, don't worry about me, I'm just fighting with my bloody clip leads for my multimeter. Should we see if we can get everything in shot? And we'll switch to a nice little bit of autofocus, so it might actually, you know, just completely lose focus on its own instead of me forgetting to focus it. So, yeah, flat down looking that way. All of the transistors are in the same orientation, so when I'm holding them upside down like this, I should be able to get at least a diode reading from them. So you're not going to see much of this meter because everywhere I put this, it's just in completely the wrong place. So I'm either not, yeah. So anyway, right. Because I'm trying to consciously keep my hands out of the camera's view. So you see how that there's your standard diode check on a transistor. So it's a bit sketchy trying to do it in circuit because you're going to get other things cross-feeding between devices, skewing the readings. But what you're looking for really primarily is just a short circuit. If it's really at any point reads like 0 ohms or an open circuit, so that's always going to be very suspect. Again, it's not a guarantee that you've got a problem because it depends on, you know, it says open circuit, just as this one seems to be. There it is. So this is incredibly fiddly little bugger because of just the nature of it. I'm probably going to resolder those wires as well because I feel like me flexing them a lot's not going to do me any favours. 3 more down this end. Don't know who that one is. Where are you? Okay, that one's sat on the board at a weird angle. And don't worry about the beeping, that's just me shorting the meter probes together. This is the joy of electronic repair. It's basically lots of slow fault finding. Takes ages to find the fault and seconds to fix the fault generally. So none of them are blatantly shorted that I've come across. So we've not got any shorts. Let's just see what state these batteries are in. And I turned it off for some reason, because of course I did. So yeah, they appear to have gone flat in the... Oh yeah, crikey, that one's actually reversed. Charlotte, I'm not putting those leads on there backwards. Putting the positive on the positive, this battery is so flat, it's actually reading a negative voltage. So yeah, whilst this has been sat in the package for some time, it is slowly discharging its battery. So I'm going to get some new batteries. Yeah, and see what happens. See if I can trace something back. Okay, so this is interesting. You won't be able to see it on the camera. So I'm going to kill some light. So if you notice that, look, if I power it up, red comes on first, then green, but then yellow never comes on. So this is going to be some kind of circuit that basically one part triggers the next, because when it gets to yellow, because yellow's never coming on, it's never going to light up. So what I'm going to do is, if I just clip onto here, I think a good place to look is to figure out which is the yellow and figure out why it isn't lighting up. So each of these transistors has got an output on them. So there's these 3 LED wires. They connect to the output of each of these transistors. I need a... Oh, that was the wrong button. I need a tad more light so I can see what I'm doing. But basically I'm going to bypass the output of each of these transistors. So it looks like we've got these resistors along the bottom here. So I just need to have a little look, see on this board. So that resistor there is going to be one of them. Okay, I've actually lost a connection. That's right. Oh, let me solder these connections back on and try again, shall I? So here's the fault, right? I've been messing about with this for a few minutes. The footage is going to be dark because I need you to be able to see the lights. So actually, if you look at the original video, it was green and red. Well, red then green, that would light up. Yellow wouldn't. As you can see now, yellow will flash for a second, then it stops. Whilst I was tracing the schematic out, this isn't an accurate schematic. This was me as I was sort of tracing it. You know, you put it down, you go, that doesn't quite make sense, but I'm in the ballpark. You know, you're just trying to give yourself a rough idea of what you're dealing with. Anyway, whilst I was tracing it out and the wires and everything were falling off of it, I had to solder them back on, which is why two different colour, well, a different colour now is the one that doesn't work. But yeah, it's basically each one of these transistors has an LED connected to it, one of the colours, and then there's some free transistors and capacitors which sort of trigger each other, and they basically stop, at any one time they stop two of these transistors from being on and allow the third on, and then eventually it swaps to the next one and the next one. But I actually found the fault whilst tracing it out quite quickly. And if I just get a nice little soldering iron here and we just sort of do this, bear with me, I'm going to need a touch more light. Let's just get you on there, shall we? Yeah, there we go. Let's just enjoy that for a moment, shall we? Look at them in their sequential low luminosity 5mm LED goodness. Yeah. So the fault was simply, if I turn some more lighting on here, fault was simply I need to move you because I cannot get you in shot. On the back of this board there is, it's not going to focus, is it? It's flashing, it knows what it's supposed to be focusing on, but it just ain't having it. There we go. So the back of this capacitor, this trace running along here had fractured. So all I've done is literally just scraped a bit of the solder resist off and put a lick of solder on it. So I'm just going to put a little piece of wire across there, and that's it, problem solved. And I'm going to redo these just because these wires are a bit janky, just improve these solder connections. Yeah, that's it. That was all it was, just a broken solder trace. So yeah, there we go. I've got to send them back to the chap who gave them to me. He actually chucked me a few components. I was opening these up earlier and I'm thinking, I don't remember ordering any diodes. Anyway, the good chap whose name I cannot remember at Vintage Christmas Lights UK graciously sent me a few electronic components he had kicking around. Thank you very much for that, by the way. So I'm going to return a favour, and I have a few little gifts to send him back as I send these back on their way to him. But if he wishes you to know what those were, I shall leave that up to him. But yes, that's all for now. If you watched it this far, then, you know, thanks very much. I know my videos aren't particularly well made. Like I say, I'm not a YouTuber. I don't even actually fix electronics for a living. I have a normal, everyday, boring, benign job which keeps the lights on and pays the bills. This is just something I do as a hobby. Design and alteration, renovation and repair of electronics is just something I do in my free time when the bug bites me. You know, there's an old saying, isn't there? Do something you love and you'll never work a day in your life. I know people who will tell you very opposite of that. You start doing it for a living and it pretty quickly stops being something you love in most cases. I mean, I'm sure there's exceptions to that, but Yeah. So anyway, she'll get these fixed up for, I don't know, I think I called him Gav earlier. Let's call him Chris. I don't know, Mr. Christmas. That'll do. We'll get these properly fixed up and boxed back up for him and get them sent back. And so yeah, anyway, thanks for watching this, and I might just leave these running for you for your enjoyment. Goodbye.